6 years ago, we were sold on the tale that ray tracing was going to be a revolution within the graphics scene. After thousands of years of existence, it seemed like humanity had finally fulfilled its goal of realistically rendering lighting within video games. And with the 20 series RTX cards, according to Nvidia, you could play your favorite Battlefield game of all time, Battlefield 5, with accurately simulated reflections that are so advanced that it will make you think as if we were using Area 51 technology to enhance the graphics in games. I mean, look at this beautiful fire reflecting off the intricate metalwork of this soldier's rifle. You know, back then, we truly thought that we had transported through time like some fucking Scientology bullshit, only to wake up months later by experiencing what I call the bitch slap of reality. You see, these debuting 20 series cards, despite being marketed for ray tracing, basically took a virtual dump every time you actually tried playing a game with ray tracing turned on. But to the eyes of many, this was a-okay. Comments like these, specifically the part about these cards being a great first step, was a reassuring thought shared by many as we envisioned just how great ray tracing would be in the future. Now flash forward to a couple days ago. I'm sitting on my ass over here looking at this damn Fortnite screenshot. The left side is to depict what the game looks like without ray tracing, and honestly, it doesn't look too bad. Here's the right side, the side where ray tracing is supposed to be turned on, and notice how it also doesn't look too bad. Notice how it looks very damn similar to the game despite having ray tracing turned on. Notice how maybe ray tracing is, in lack of better words, useless, and despite being hyped up by Nvidia, it is being utilized as a scam for everyone to buy the RTX 4090 that is supposedly recommended for this feature in ultra settings. It's ultimately being utilized by Nvidia for people to fork over $1,000 to enjoy a feature that hasn't been successfully integrated yet across the board outside of some titles like Cyberpunk and Metro Exodus, and honestly Minecraft. Those look pretty damn beautiful. These are games that actually incorporate it super fucking well. But then there are games like how we saw with Fortnite in which you can't really tell the difference outside of some enhanced shadow work. Here's Witcher 3 though, and while you can see way better sunbeams and overall shadow work within dimly lit spaces, is it really worth lining up to get a 40 series RTX card that in due time will be deemed obsolete just like the 30 series? Because while we might be able to realistically render the shadow of Cal Kestis's cock and balls, the main noticeable difference between ray tracing being turned on versus off is ultimately the huge dip in frame rate. We were told that this current generation of consoles, the Series X and the PS5, would be the first generation of hardware to successfully integrate ray tracing technology. But if you want to play games like the Dead Space remake or Elden Ring, have fun playing at a maximum of 30 frames per second while on 1080p resolution. The same story rings true while on PC. The card that many people own, a 3060, is still going to struggle with frames unless you utilize DLSS to boost frame rate. But even then, it just sits kind of weird with me, you know. Your resolution is dropped with DLSS, however, the technology implements AI machine learning witchery bullshit to create entirely new frames while ray tracing is turned on. So it's ultimately counterintuitive. You're spending this much cheddar for fancy shadows and dope ass puddle reflections, but in order for it to actually run better than a fucking PowerPoint slideshow, you're going to have to decrease the overall graphical quality in order for you to actually enjoy it. There's just a weird dismal future in my opinion with this technology, because as we progress as a human species, video games are just going to be way more complex to run. And as video games get larger and way more complex to run, it's going to be way more difficult to implement this ray tracing technology and to have a graphics card that can meet the demands of all of this. So you might as well take off and hang up your ray tracing tap dancing shoes if you think that your 30 series laptop is going to be able to handle the likes of GTA 6 or Elder Scrolls 6, for example. And I don't mean that as an insult, you know, my current laptop is a GTX 1070, but the thing is, it still works well for me. I don't really mind 1080p gaming as long as I get good frames and can actually enjoy the games. And I'm sure Nvidia, who has completely cornered the market with regards to this ray tracing gimmick, would absolutely cringe at that statement. Nvidia want you to feel like ray tracing is the ultimate objective for gaming outside of path tracing, which takes like 5 minutes to load one frame. And while the technology has improved, evident in Unreal Engine 5's real-time implementation of it, it remains a luxury, and we should be focusing more on improving the physics of games as opposed to satisfying the needs of the 4% of the gaming population who can actually run ray tracing.